What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Coast to Coast Sports. As always, I am your host, Harrison Van Tilber. And to the left of me, as always, per usual, the handsome, beautiful, voted best eyes by his senior class in 2017, Jonathan Witt. And then behind the scenes, looking snackish, just an Under Armour hat. He likes to switch up the hats, so I always like to shed light on that.
He does.
Ryan Smith. And before we get started, let me just read the outline of the show. Let's give you guys a little bit of taste to think about. We got our college football poll for week 8. Talk a little bit about the games, talk about what's going on, do a little bit of NFL in review, fantasy football updates, baseball playoffs, kind of shed some light on that, NBA, and the Astros game is on currently, and I'm kind of tagging between both if it's an important situation. It didn't get happen. Baseball playoffs, seeing kind of where that's at, saying goodbye to some of our friends. Then we have NBA/college basketball officially back tonight. College basketball will be back, I believe, in a couple weeks or a week or so.
It might
Preseason shit should be starting soon.
Well,
I feel like there's always like Ohio State plays in the ACC tournament or something like that should be coming up, I believe, around a week or a couple weeks before Thanksgiving.
Ohio State's first game will actually be November 11th, I want to say. It's in November.
Yeah, so we got a couple weeks still.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the pick'ems, and then we'll have our 2-minute drill, and we'll wrap it up from there. So, John, before we get into the show, you got anything to say to people?
NBA's back, basketball's back, NBA rigged. Some people say that. Some people say MLB rigged.
I say that.
But yeah, basketball's back again. I mean, I don't mean to be the guy that keeps bringing this up, but October's the best month. So, sorry to disappoint all you March and April lovers.
You're March and April lovers. I'm a March and April lover. Ryan, you got anything to say to people before we get started?
Go fucking Yankees.
Wow.
November 7th is when Ohio State
This fucking guy
plays his first game.
fucking rubbing salt in John's wound.
Look, you know what? It is what it is.
It happens.
I think the better team just came out on top. Had nothing to do with the field they were playing on. Had nothing to do with the pitcher that they started on yesterday.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll touch base on that in a little bit. But before we get started, YouTube, check out our Spotify. And Spotify people, please check out the YouTube. You're missing some sheer comedy here on the camera with John and I's pretty face and John's hoodie drawn where he looks like a sphincter now. Make sure you check us out on both of those. And follow us on Twitter. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell. And let's get into it. College football. I believe we had 5 top 25 matchups last week. 6. Okay, so we had 6 top 25 matchups last week.
5 this week.
And we have 5 this week. So talk about back-to-back weeks of just great football happening on the college spectrum. NFL, a little shaky these past couple weeks. Either way, I think we had a really good slate of games. They didn't necessarily always turn out to be great games. For example, the Michigan-Penn State game, thought that was going to be a little more closer than what it was. Didn't really turn out to be that way. So let's talk about our poll to get us going here. Ryan, whenever you're ready, sweet cheeks. 3, 2, 1. How'd I do?
I misclicked it.
God
Damn it.
You fucking
I had nodded
suck.
for nothing, Ryan.
You suck. So, for our Spotify viewers, 1 through 5 reads as Ohio State, Georgia, Tennessee, Michigan, and Clemson. 6 through 10 goes UCLA, UCLA, in case those that don't know. 7, Ole Miss. 8, TCU. 9, the Alabama Crimson Tide. And then 10, Oregon. 11 through 15 is going to go our USC Trojans, the Syracuse Oranges. 13, the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. 14 is the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And then 15 is Kansas State Wildcats. And then 16 through 20, we've got the Utah Utes. The 17 being the Illini of Illinois. And then we've got 18 Penn State Nittany Lions. 19 Texas Longhorns. And then 20 North Carolina Tar Heels. 21 through 25 goes as NC State Wolfpack. Kentucky Wildcats. Purdue Boilermakers. Tulane Green Wave, and 25 being the Cincinnati Bearcats. Before we get started, we have who fell out. We had a few fall out.
We had 4. It was Minnesota, Mississippi State, James Madison, and our dear friends Kansas.
Our dear friends Kansas. You can't lose 2 weeks in a row.
No.
But hopefully they'll be back soon.
Yeah.
And then the 4 new teams we have the North Carolina Tar Heels.
Yep.
We've got the
Kentucky.
Purdue Boilermakers.
Yep.
We got the Tulane Green Wave.
Yep.
And we have the Kentucky Wildcats re-entering back in. They've been in our polls obviously the weeks before, but they made the back end for this week.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a little bit of madness happening. Obviously, Alabama losing shook up the polls. Not so much for us because we still have Ohio State at 1, but I believe Bama was at 2 the last week.
There are 3.
They were 3 last week.
Yeah, there are 3.
Yeah, so they were 3 last week, 2 this week, 9 this week. So they are big fall there. We got Tennessee going from 5 to 3. Not a huge jump, but an impressive jump nonetheless. You went at home in a very, I don't know, just a poor defended game. Tennessee had one wide receiver that might enter the Heisman conversation now because he had more touchdowns than probably some running backs and other key players have had this entire season in one fucking game. So, and then Michigan went from 6 to 4, same thing, not a huge jump, but a jump. UCLA goes from 12 to 6. So they moved up almost double. And I think that obviously a huge win against USC provides that for you.
Or well, they didn't play USC.
Who they play?
That was Utah.
Utah played them. Shit.
well,
USC losing helps UCLA.
Yeah, no, they had a bunch of guys lose, and honestly, they're probably one of the better undefeated teams. They probably should have been up higher than normal, but I think looking at Alabama losing, USC, I mean, they're undefeated compared to Oregon. There was just a bunch of teams that lost. Oklahoma State lost.
Yeah. So, yeah, TCU goes from 13 to 8, and then Penn State goes from 9 to 18 as well. Those are kind of our biggest drops. Oklahoma State lost, but they didn't really fall that much. I believe they were 10 in our poll last week. And
they're on a bye this week.
They're I think they were like 10 in our poll last week, and now they're 14, or they were 9. So there wasn't a huge fall for Oklahoma State, but they also played a very good component in TCU, so they kind of switched spots adjacent.
They also had that game pretty much won. It just TCU came back, ended up winning in
I think
double
they were
overtime.
Up, I think they did win in double overtime, and I believe they were up like 2 scores too. I thought Oklahoma State was running away with it, which sucks. I'm not huge on TCU, but I think that they're definitely going to be. I have them kind of winning the Big 12 championship if you ask me right now. They're playing really good football. They've got a good matchup this week, and I believe that's in their pick'ems, correct?
Yes, I think they make it to Jerry's World. I don't think they win the Big 12 championship game, but I think they are a pesky enough team to where they can make it to the Big 12 championship game for sure. I mean, I think they make it as a 2 seed, though. I think they will end up losing a couple games here, but they have a couple games to give, so I think they'll make it to Jerry's World.
That was an absolute.
I'm sorry. Nuke. That was impressive.
Also by one of our least favorite players, Harrison Bader.
Oh, I fucking hate that guy.
Hate that dude.
That dude wore mouth guard. He wore mouth guard while playing the sport of baseball, and he's not a catcher.
Yeah, I know. So that guy sucks. Astros currently losing 1-0, top of the second. Are you that far behind?
Yeah, I exited the app a couple times, so.
Oh, okay.
I was like, wait, what? He's like, it's like 1-2 right now. What are you talking about?
Yikes.
Yeah, big time, Ryan. Big time. So hopefully that'll be, hopefully that's not the only run of the game. Hopefully Verlander has a much better outing than he did against Seattle. Regardless, kind of keeping up with the poll. I feel like this is a pretty good description of what we think should be. I think that you'll be looking to see a good game coming up here. I guess Clemson, Syracuse play each other, 2 undefeateds. Syracuse is a little more tested than I would say Clemson is.
I would say the other way around.
Well, I mean, they both played NC State, right?
Yeah, but Clemson played NC State with their starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And both were on the road. Plus, Clemson's played Wake Forest, too, which we have 13 in our poll. And then, I mean, that's about it. But Syracuse really hasn't played too many people. Purdue's aging pretty well, but they honestly kind of should have lost that game. But I think NC State's quarterback was announced to be out for the year. So that NC State win's not going to age well, but they played NC State at their peak, and I'm going to give them credit for that.
Yeah, so Clemson, that does make a lot of sense too. So Clemson probably is aging better, but that'll definitely be a good matchup. I think this might be Clemson's toughest matchup, personally. I think the NC State one, I like them. I think that they're kind of overrated, not necessarily because their quarterback's gone down and the losses that have happened after it, but I feel like they just didn't look all that well against Clemson in general. NC State didn't play, I think, a good game. Now, that could be because Clemson is that good. We don't really know. I've always been in favor of Clemson being overrated since 2 generational quarterbacks left. So we'll see how well actually they are. And, who knows if they blow the brakes off of Syracuse here, maybe we start giving a little more respect to him.
Yeah, I think this is probably our best poll we've had so far. I don't really have much complaints. Trying to look around here. No, I think Illinois kind of earned they're quietly kind of sneaking up our poll. Just kind of like they are in real life. I love Tulane. I think Tulane's probably our most underrated team in our poll. I could see them moving this up some spots, and I think they're the best team outside of the Power Five, unless I'm forgetting somebody. But I would have them.
So.
I would have them for like I believe they're way better than Cincinnati. I believe they'll win the American.
Look out for Coastal Carolina. They're coming up here in a big way here too. So they might make my poll next week, especially if they keep winning. And if Cincinnati loses or Tulane, they might make my poll next week. But they're probably my 27th, 28th team right now. So look out for them.
North Carolina is another team that's kind of just sneaked up on us because I believe they only have one loss, and they lost to Notre Dame, which that's not aging very well.
Right.
But
I believe it was kind of a shootout, 45-32.
Yeah, and now they'll be tested towards the end. I mean, Pitt's fallen off, so they should win that. They should beat Virginia. Then towards the end, they got Wake Forest, tough game. They play Georgia Tech, who's played better since firing their coach, but should still win. And then they play NC State to close the season. So they'll be tested towards the end. I would look out for North Carolina to make a jump here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that'll be interesting for sure. But outside of this, I think that's a pretty solid college football poll. I think that we have a lot of balance. I think we've balanced it out pretty well. I think Bama, in my opinion, is a little too low.
I think that's perfect for them.
I figured you would. I think that when you go on the road, play at Tennessee, that's a tough environment to play in. And retrospectively, I think the kicker should have made the kick. He's a very, very, very capable kicker in doing that. He hasn't been the greatest this year, and it's kind of shown. Obviously, maybe the wheels have fallen off for him there, but Alabama definitely had a chance to win that game. And probably should have won that game since they missed the kick. Gives Tennessee the ball at like the 40, I believe. Alabama's 40. So all they needed was probably a first down and then some change, put them in field goal, which happened. Shout out the field goal polls that left the stadium. They made it to, one of them made it to the river. I don't know where the other one made it.
Couldn't tell you.
Couldn't tell you.
I
But
heard,
shout out the football polls that made it.
Actually, I did hear that I think a frat house ended up getting in. They sawed it off, and like a bunch of people have
Pieces of it. That's actually kind of hilarious. That's kind of awesome too. So shout out Tennessee for that. Michigan absolutely dominated Penn State. The fact that Michigan was up 2 going into halftime when Penn State had one first down just shows you how funny of a game college football and football in general, or just sports in general are. Penn State had one first down. The only reason they got one touchdown was because of an absolute just busted coverage play. QB, what's his name? Sam Haggerty? Clifford?
Yeah.
Sean Clifford. Sean Clifford, not the most athletic guy, ran for like 60 yards just because it was, like I said, it was busted coverage. So
I mean, it was wide open,
yeah. When it's something like that crazy happens, and that was the only first down they got the entire half. And then the pick six that happened when it was tipped off of offensive lineman, then hit off an defensive lineman's helmet, caught, returned for pick six. That just goes to show how awesome and how funny sports can be sometimes.
Yeah.
But Michigan dominated Penn State, so we'll see how good Penn State ages. Ohio State kicked the shit out of the bye. Most teams struggle with them. Ohio State handled them pretty well. Georgia beat the brakes off of Vandy, which that's not necessarily anything anymore. I was big on Vandy. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I admit that.
Okay.
But UCLA climbed the ladder. Utah big win against UCLA. USC. I misspoke there. So I think this is definitely a little bit more coming down the wire. Your Pac-12 bet's still alive, correct?
Yes, that was huge. Utah Utes winning was huge. They just kind of need UCLA to slip up here because they are in the same division.
Are they division based?
Yeah, so they'll need UCLA to lose. I think this is the last year division, so they'll need UCLA to lose twice.
Why
because
twice?
they would have the head-to-head.
I got you.
So that's not looking too good. So they would need USC to pull it out, and maybe hopefully Oregon win this week. But
gotcha.
But we'll see.
We'll definitely see. I think that we got definitely a great slate of college games to pick from too. I mean, another 5 games of top 25 matchups here. I mean, come on, you can't beat it.
I'm looking up when the Pac-12 gets rid of divisions. When does the Pac-12 get rid of divisions?
I would say it has to be soon here, yeah. Oh, so it is this year.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I
Utah
guess they
could still
don't.
pull it out then.
Then yeah, they only got the one conference loss, so they still control their own destiny. Right.
Yeah, because they lost to Florida and
But that doesn't count. And then
no, I'm saying their only two losses are to Florida and
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be good. Good for Utah. I'm glad your bet's still alive.
Yeah. Shout out the Utes. Texas winning would be huge this week. They only have the one conference loss, so they still control their destiny in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously Ohio State and Alabama can still win their conference. So
For sure.
Yeah. And Clemson. Clemson's my fifth. So
I would say that
All
probably
still looking
honestly
good.
the safest one out of all those might be Clemson.
100%. I've been saying that for weeks.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
But before we move to our lovely friends at the professional level,
Yes.
let's talk about our first sponsor. Let's shout out our first sponsor of the podcast. One of my personal favorite fast food, grab food truck restaurants / food truck, however you want to word that. Pete Abilities. They've got everything you want and more from a food quality standpoint. Some of the best that you'll ever have. Fresh ingredients. They never use the same shit twice. They always rotating produce, rotating meat, and keeping it fresh for the consumer as well. But go to their website, see where the food trucks are located at for the day, or if you want that more brick and mortar feel, they have one in Old Hilliard, Ohio, and the Crooked Can facilities. I love what they're doing with the rice bowls. That is one of my new kicks right now. Get a little bit of gyro, maybe even chicken, depending on what I'm feeling. Bella sauce on it, banana peppers, tomatoes, a little bit of black olives, give me that salty kick. On top of these rice bowls, best thing you're going to get, John. I mean, I know you're huge still in the pitas, though, right?
Yeah, huge in the pitas, huge into the buffalo chicken. I mean, the buffalo chicken, it'll slap your mama silly.
It'll slap
It'll
silly.
slap her silly.
Slap
I
her
dare you
silly.
to get the buffalo chicken and tell me it's bad.
Right.
I will slap you silly.
I'll slap you silly,
Yeah.
too.
So gotta love Peter Belly.
Yeah, shout out our first sponsor of the episode. We really appreciate them so much. They love us. We love them. Let them know that we sent you. And check them out on their website. See where the food trucks are at, or get them to come cater wherever you're at as well, too. So
Yep.
They do catering, and if you want to sit down, maybe have a beer, little noon beer, check them out in the Crooked Can facilities as well. So thank you to Pete Abilities. We appreciate you, and let's move on. NFL Fantasy Weekend Review.
Yep.
Let's talk about it. John and I faced this week.
We did.
I had zero hope in winning. I thought to myself, there's no way I'm winning. And then John laid it out. John laid it out perfectly for me. He said, Harrison, look, I know my team's absolutely donkey dick huge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the best team in fantasy.
Yep.
Maybe rivaling Ryan's team. He said to me, Harrison, this is the week that I'm going to lose. And this is the week you could win. And I said, John, there's just no way. I am playing and fighting for my goddamn life strictly because Jonathan Taylor still out. My best wide receiver still out. Two of my top scorers still out.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't played. It's like, John, there's no way. And then John proved to be right. And I'm sorry I doubted you.
Yeah, no.
But I will say, though, I almost lost. I was winning You were winning 95 or 96, and I had 93. And I still had my quarterback and running back. My running back got me 1.4 points, and my quarterback got me 8 points. They made it a lot closer than I wanted it to be, John.
Yeah, if I obviously, that's the game of fantasy. When you draft, you got to look at your bye weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I matched up two of my better players on the same bye week. If I had one of those guys, I probably win. I think it's safe to say I probably win.
100%. Not even safe to say. I'd say it's almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
I'd like to think Amon St. Brown or Damon Pierce would get you more than 10 points because that's all you needed to beat me.
Yep. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm still in the playoffs. I still got everything in front of me. I control my destiny. That's all you can ask for. I mean, it was a tough week for the boys. We had a good week in practice. But yeah, we got Ryan this week. So
Hey, I will say though, one of my best running backs was also on bye too. So I had my two top
yeah.
running backs out, so that kind of hurt me as well. But
yeah,
Ryan,
And then,
I really, I think I need you to beat Ryan because Ryan's in my division.
he is. I also forgot. I have Chris Olave, and he didn't play either. So even if I have him,
He might help you there too.
He will help me there.
But
too.
Ryan, how'd you do this past week?
Honestly, it was a weird week.
Yeah,
Other than Josh Allen, fucking gross.
of course.
Everyone else was kind of just, there.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't have Leonard Fournette pop off, fucking 22 points. But after Josh Allen, Leonard Fournette, these are my next 5 players. 3.3, 3.4, 7, 4.2. And then after that, I have Zeke that actually got me 15.6, so that's okay.
I thought he
Wait,
was.
you didn't bench him?
Yeah, you didn't bench him?
Didn't bench him because I had the other 2 running back options and wide receiver options both hurt. So
You should bench him.
I had 3 bench players that had 0 points because they didn't play.
You should bench him this week.
And then I had Buccaneers defense give me 4 points, and then my kicker get me 5. So I only had 3 people on my roster get me more than 10 points, and I somehow pulled out the dub.
Yeah, I mean, fantasy scoring this entire season's obviously down mega.
Mm-hmm.
But for us too, like I think our highest score of the week was 132, which is pretty solid. That's a good score. And outside of that, I think we only had 3 people get above 105 points.
Yeah, it was a rough week for everyone this week. I mean, this is the first week of buys as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to play a big factor. I mean, if we look at our season high, I mean, not to brag, but I did have...
Yours was a fucking anomaly.
Week 5, I had 172 points. And then I have the second highest with, I think I have 159.36. So
Yeah, so fantasy's looking rough. But outside of that, we had a really good game in Buffalo Chiefs.
Yep.
Turned out to be a really, really fun game to watch. And, you know, I was honestly expecting a little bit more high scoring.
I was hoping for that too because I have Kelsey and Diggs, but
Yeah.
and they ended up pulling out more points than they had projected, especially at halftime. It was looking bad at halftime for me. Like it was like, oh, don't even look at fantasy this week.
Yeah.
But they did actually make our game a little closer. In the second half.
That was good. Jacksonville and Indy was actually a pretty solid game. Ended up kind of turning out to be a really solid game. Steelers upsetting the Bucks. I guess you'd call that an upset, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
that
so
was an upset.
That was kind of an odd game to watch. There was just a few weird games out of the entire slate of the NFL. I mean, personally, the Eagles. You know, if we were doing a power rankings, I think the Eagles would still be like towards the top because I think they're the only undefeated team left.
They would be my 2. I'd still put Bills 1, Eagles 2.
But the thing that's odd about it is they have maybe arguably the worst second half scoring team in all of NFL.
Yeah.
I think they've scored in their second half, this entire season. Hold on, let me find it. Give me 1 second, please. They have scored in the second half like an abysmal, like against the Cowboys, they scored 6 points in the second half. That's it. You can't do that and win games, especially when it matters. Against the Cardinals, second half, they scored 7 points. Nope, miscorrected it. They scored 6 points in the second half against the Cardinals. Lions, that was a shootout, 38-35. They scored 14 points in the second half and 0 in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that, I might hold the brakes on Philly. To me, you need to be able to score second half points, especially when it comes to playoff time and when it matters most. And I don't know if Philly can do that personally. So we'll be keeping an eye on it. But I think to me personally right now it's the Bills and the Chiefs and everybody else is just playing along. But Falcons kind of blew the doors off of San Fran. Cleveland shit the bed against the Patriots.
Yeah, that was bad.
I just wouldn't say it was an overall very good week of NFL football. A lot of teams I would say you probably didn't have in your bingo card of winning one. I think a lot of people probably would have picked the Chiefs. I know the money line was still Bills' favorites, but I think a lot of people still picked them. But I think that's a coin flip. But Seattle beating Arizona the way that they did, odd. Chargers beating the shit out of Carolina. Carolina's bad. Had a player literally get kicked out of the game and then traded the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely something interesting. But Giants beating Baltimore, I didn't have that on my bingo card. Bengals having a close game against New Orleans, didn't have that on my bingo card.
New Orleans was missing like 4 receivers in that game, and they were winning most of the game. Cincinnati had a last-second touchdown there.
So, it was just a very, very odd. Minnesota handled Miami.
Did we mention New York and Green Bay?
We did not.
That game was
Jets,
weird. Yeah.
Well, New York's cracking the top 10, man, in power rankings. So the NFL's looking really weird this year, but that's kind of good because I like it when it's challenging and a lot of different things you can get from it. So I personally am a huge fan of when the NFL is close games, different shit each and every day. Personally, so I love that. But that's kind of all the NFL talk we got. I mean, no team looks great. Browns look like they're struggling.
Look, that game was maybe one of the worst Browns games I've ever experienced watching. And I've watched the Browns all my life, which yikes.
Right. 0-16 year.
We don't have to talk about that. But the worst thing to come out of this game was I ended up rooting against the Browns towards the end. Like or at least our defense, because we just need to fire our coach. It should have happened weeks ago.
Yeah.
They don't even line up properly. Their communication's terrible. Like, this is just a functioning thing. And it got to the point where I was rooting for more points so maybe a change would happen.
Yeah.
And it's
Still
still has not happened.
I
Billy
think,
Zappi we let up 38 points to Billy Zappi.
Hey, don't shit on your guy. You were big fans of him.
He's still a rookie.
Yeah, but I think that you probably give it one more week for
Joe Woods.
For Joe Woods. I feel like you typically halfway through the season. Next week's halfway through seasons, right?
I don't know.
What? Home run? Oh, I'm delayed as fuck, so I don't. If something happened, you gotta like
Scored.
That probably peaked so hard. There's no way. There's no way that hurt, right? Maldonado, that sexy lunk of a man. But let's move on from NFL. Colts are going to be back, promise. Browns will be okay.
No, they won't.
I mean, if you have a kicker, you win one, you're back. You win that game,
We're dead.
and there's another game that you got. And if you don't fucking blow up against the Jets, you only have 2 losses.
Just don't worry about it. We're dead.
All right.
We're dead. We're dead.
So let's just look at that. Steelers, Ryan. Sorry, they're fighting a good fight, but they're struggling. Well, I'll be curious to see how the Steelers worked out. Tomlin's never had a losing season. I wonder if he turns it around. This year is definitely one of the years he should.
When does TJ Watt come back? Do you know?
I think like week 7.
Because there's been a huge drop off since he left. I think they'll be better.
Well, I don't think Cam Hayward's playing either, too, so that doesn't help. Or he was injured. He's been in and out. But regardless,
I thought he was playing. But go on.
We'll keep an eye on that stuff. But let's get into the NBA and college basketball officially being back before we get into playoff baseball.
Yep.
NBA's back. We had our first section of games yesterday. Warriors played the Lakers. Warriors ended up winning. LeBron had another great performance, 31 points. Russell Westbrook midseason form of not looking very good. Who is the other team? Was it Celtics and Sixers? Celtics look very good. Sixers dropping the first game. It's obviously game 1. That doesn't really matter a whole fucking lot in the first place. But Celtics look really good. Maybe look to see them repeat or be a big benefactor in the Eastern Conference playoffs as well. So Miami Heat play basketball tonight.
They do.
And I'm very excited.
Cavs are playing right now.
Let's I'll go to the NBA, get some of the scores that we have currently right now as things are playing. Grizzlies are beating the brakes off of the Knicks right now, 51-37.
I'm watching the Cavs game up right now. They're up 47-45.
Love that.
Yeah.
That'll be a good game. That's the Raptors will be pretty good. Rockets, Hawks, close game. Magic, Pistons beating the Magic, close game. Pacers are losing to the Wizards, not by a lot. Pelicans are beating the shit out of the Nets, 51-36.
Yikes.
And then 51-37 for the Grizzlies against the Knicks as well. So I'm probably in the minority here when I say that I absolutely love NBA basketball and I love watching it. I also love watching baseball, and I know those are two probably the most hated sports to watch. Maybe it's because I'm a Heat fan and my team's good, or we play what I think is the basketball the right way. But the Cavs are going to be back this year, and they're going to be so fun to watch. I mean, how else can you say it? Can you say it any other way?
I mean, the Cavs are back. The Cavs are probably the best team in the East. They're absolutely going to shit through the East. I can't see anybody in the East beating them. I mean, they're winning the Central. I mean, Bucks who?
I don't think Bucks are in the same division as them.
Yeah, they are. It's the Bucks, Bulls, Pacers, Pistons, and Cavs.
I'll take your word for it.
It is.
That's not good.
Don't listen to that.
Garland's down.
Look, Cavs are back. They're going to sweep through the Central. They're going to sweep through their first 2 rounds. Obviously, I mean, they beat the Heat in the second round because we're the 1 seed, you're the 4 seed. Absolutely blow you out. And
Sweep?
Then, yeah.
Okay,
Easy.
cool.
And then play the Celtics, sweep them, and then bring on whoever's in the West.
Bring him on. Bring him on. Probably the Warriors again.
That's usually how it shakes out, but we'll see.
How awesome would it be if the Warriors made it and you guys beat them?
It'd be pretty sweet.
That'd be dope. I'd be happy for you.
Look,
I'd want the Heat to obviously win, which I think will be just fine, and we'll play the basketball. We'll play the round sphere well.
it's as fine as you can be having to play in the same conference as the Cavs.
Yes, about as fine as you can be. Yeah. So, college basketball is back, and John, I believe we have a top 25.
First top 25 came out
Top 25 came
Tuesday.
out. Let me switch it over and put it up on the mega screen. I won't go through the entire top 25. I feel like that'd be aggressive. But I will go just because it's preseason. Preseason doesn't mean shit anyway.
Yeah, well, the basketball poll doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, basketball in general. But I will say, though, one thing that initially jumps out to me that I'm surprised of is lack of Big Ten representation. I always am on the boat of Big Ten always represents well in basketball. Always plays well. Plays scrappy, plays good, beats the shit out of each other all year. Then when we get to the tournament, we have some decent teams that end up playing well and making it decently far. But Indiana, Michigan, and Illinois are the only Big Ten teams that I'm seeing, right? I just want to double check myself. Yeah. Only Big Ten teams that I see. I feel like it's kind of undervalued there. I feel like Ohio State should be in there somewhere.
No. I don't even want to sniff the top 20. I think this
we have a top recruiting class.
This will be a down year for the... Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I think this will be a down year for the Big Ten in general.
Purdue lost a lot of great players.
Yeah, and Illinois lost a couple too. I just don't see much happening from the Big Ten this year. I am kind of high on Indiana. I think they do come out of the Big Ten this year. But I mean, Michigan's usually solid. Illinois, I mean, I think they'll be fine. But I'm kind of fine with us having no top 10. I don't think we really have anybody of that caliber. We've sucked in the postseason, so let us earn it. Let us earn it.
Right. I think that personally, for me, are you guys already out of the inning? Yeah. I'm that far behind? How the fuck am I that far behind?
Yikes.
Question. Hello. I personally think that it's North Carolina versus everybody. They made it to the finals with the team that they had, and they returned everybody. They didn't lose a goddamn single person, I feel like. So, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to, be all crazy and wild and wacky, pick a national championship right now. Champion right now. I think that'd be a little overzealous, but I think North Carolina has got to be the overall favorite. I'm a little surprised how high Duke is at number 7. 7-ish. No, because there's a tie for 5.
Yeah,
so it's like
that accounts for it.
Yeah, it's still 7, but like I'm surprised at how high they are. First year after Krzyzewski, I feel like not necessarily dropping out of top 25. Like they still are very good at the round ball going in the round hole.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that they're that high. That's all.
They're still recruiting really well.
They're Duke.
Yeah.
It happens.
And the thing about basketball is they have a real postseason, unlike college football. So we'll see it all play out. No need to worry about where you're ranked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess UCLA's Big Ten.
Adjacent.
Big Ten adjacent.
So, they're not Big Ten this year, right?
No, it's.
I didn't know if basketball came sooner or football.
No, it'll be the same. It'll be the same academic year.
Okay.
And then I believe they're 24, 25 school year.
Uh-huh. So, the big things that you got to take away here is North Carolina, Gonzaga, Houston, Kentucky, Baylor, and Kansas round out your top 5. Baylor and Kansas are tied for 5.
Also, Kansas is my national championship pick. I have to.
Oh, yeah, we got to rock chalk again.
We got to rock chalk
Run it back.
We're running it back.
Duke, UCLA, Creighton, Arkansas are your 7 through 10. Tennessee, Texas, Indiana, TCU, and Auburn are 11 through 15. Villanova, Arizona, Virginia, San Diego State, Alabama are 15 through 20. And then 21 through 25 is Oregon, Michigan, Illinois, Dayton, and Texas Tech. I know I said I wasn't going to read it out, but I figured I should for the Spotify people. So
that's fine.
I respect it. I'm true to my guns here. So
yeah, why not?
So we're going to say we're back. It's fun to be back. Rooting for a lot of things here. But let's get to postseason baseball. Before we do that, let's talk about our second sponsor, our good friends at National Road Golf Course. Weather's changing here in Ohio.
It is.
And if you're an Ohio native and you want to stay sharp on your game, check out National Golf Course. They got the simulators, and you can play, almost any course. They got 3 bays. Bring some friends, family members, whoever you want. Sharpen your game. Stay on the driving range. Play actual round. Whatever you're feeling. I mean, if you're still brave enough to face the weather, they're still letting carts out. So, I mean, John and I, we could go get a quick 9 in tomorrow.
We could. I'd be a little shaky. I haven't golfed in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But look, the only way to get unshaken is by playing. So,
Yeah.
wouldn't mind hitting that 9.
Wouldn't mind hitting that 9 either. So, make sure you check out our friends, National Golf Course, just outside West Jefferson, Ohio, off of Route 40. Be sure you tell them that we sent them, and we love them. They love us. So, thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast.
Yes.
Let's get to playoff baseball. I just want to touch briefly on this because, a lot of things have happened, and we're kind of already started the second round. So it's not like a surprise to anybody. We can't really do preview matchups because games are already underway. Phillies, the 2 upset Kings, Phillies and Padres playing against each other. I believe the series is tied 1-1 now. Last I checked, the Phillies were getting shit on by the Padres.
It was...
I doubt they came back.
Yeah, so... Padres won 8-5, so the series is now tied at 1-1.
Okay, so series tied 1-1. I personally have the Phillies coming out of that. I think the Phillies have a lot of reminiscing of the 2019 Nationals.
Okay.
Real scrappy baseball team. Finds a way to win. They have a really good starting rotation, and Aaron Nola, who didn't look that great today, he looked fine, and then the wheels fell off towards the end.
Yeah.
Zach Wheeler pitched an absolute gem, was through 7 innings yesterday on 85 pitches, and the manager pulled him. Thought that was a bit aggressive. I think I would let him play out, but he's a manager. I'm not, and they won the game anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That is true.
Preserve the shutout. And Noah Syndergaard, if you can get him to anywhere half decent playoff baseball form, he's a good third guy to have.
Yep.
Padres also have a really good starting rotation. Blake Snell, Sean Manaea, Yu Darvish,
Musgrove,
very, very, very good pitchers as well. So be looking for that to be a really fun series. I think that series can honestly go 7.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Phillies. I think they have a little more offensive power that have been playing well of late versus the Padres.
Yeah, I mean, I am taking the Phillies as well. I think the series will come down to how well the Padres can play offensively.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you've seen Juan Soto, he's been fine.
He's getting back.
Josh Bell has
been
not been what he
great.
was for Washington and even Pittsburgh. But you never know. It's playoff baseball. That's when you can rewrite your season. So we'll see how that one finishes.
And also, Trent Grisham turns into an absolute just beast come playoff time. I don't know why, but it is. Yeah. He does. So,
and I trust the Phillies offense. I think they're a little more stable with Castellanos, Harper, and Schwarber versus what the Padres have.
Much more, and also I think they have a phenomenal catcher.
Phenomenal
catcher too, defensively and offensively.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily. It's almost crazy. It's like the Padres' offense could be so much better if they had, one more bat.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if they pick up one in the offseason.
Yeah, they might. Maybe halfway through the season. I will say the Padres, the more games they play, the more games they win. That takes days off of suspension for Fernando.
That is true.
So that's kind of pride. Like if they make the World Series, let's say they play 7 games, and they make the World Series against the Yankees or the Astros and play 7 games. Like and this whole postseason, that's a decent amount of games off of I think it's an 80-game suspension. So he already had to miss the back half of the year.
Yeah, and he already missed.
So he could start within like the first 2 months of baseball next year, which would be just funny. It'd just be ironic the way that worked out.
Yeah.
But that'll be an interesting set series there for themselves. Now we flipping sides to the AL. We have the Astros versus their frequent flyer, the Yankees of the AL. They had. This will be the 3rd time they've played him in the playoffs in 6 years.
Yep.
So it'll be a fun matchup. 2 guys that are just 2 best records in AL. I mean, I'm not going to say that they both should be here because I'll get on my soapbox here in a second. But 2 best records in AL, you would say that they both should be here, or that they both would be here, and then now they both are here. So I'm going to say the Astros have the advantage. Yankees played last night against Cleveland in New York and had to basically get on a plane and fly to Houston. Or they flew this morning, one or the other, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
To play in this game immediately on no rest. So
yeah, that's their fault.
it's almost like if you beat the teams that you should and handle them, that's how it happened. So I don't have any sympathy for them. Don't get it twisted.
Well, they wanted the game delayed, so they got what
yeah,
they wanted.
they got one. So they're back to that. So
Yeah.
my soapbox. I think the MLB showed its true colors of wanting the New York Yankees to win. By having Bob Costas on the call. That dude sucks at his job and clearly favored the Yankees. There was not nearly enough rain nor enough concern for it, in my opinion, for that game to be delayed the way it was. Start the game and fight through it almost like they did in the World Series.
Yeah.
In 2016 when Cleveland was there. But the fact that the thing that pisses me off more than anything is that game not getting postponed. Yankees have to pitch a different pitcher than Nestor Cruz.
Yeah.
And the Guardians are in the same boat. They pitch the same way that they have been. Yankees bullpen was completely depleted, and every pitcher was completely depleted. Guardians were in a much better spot. You give them one more day of rest. Now they have a new starting pitcher. I almost think it should not be allowed that they were allowed to start Nestor Cruz. Obviously, that's kind of depends on where you fall in that soapbox. But I think that the MLB really showed its true colors here, and I'm very disappointed in them.
Yeah, I truly think Cleveland does win Game 5 if that game does not get delayed. The Yankees bullpen was tired, and Cleveland pitched that way in Game 4.
For a reason.
They saved all their good arms. They could have won in Game 4, but they saved all their good arms because they were like, okay, let's just push it to Game 5. If we win Game 4, awesome. But, I mean, we're going to have a huge advantage in Game 5 either way if we save these guys. And the MLB took away that advantage. It sucks. It is what it is. We probably wouldn't. This team wasn't winning a World Series to begin with, so I'm just not going to complain about it too much, but
it's just the biggest thing is when you pour all your money and all your viewership into three major market teams, i.e. the Mets, Dodgers, and Yankees. It's almost a nightmare scenario when those three teams don't make their division series, or not their division series, when they don't make their championship series.
Yeah.
I think that as
did that go?
No, it didn't. I won't score. Rizzo's not that fast. Rizzo's not that fast.
Okay. The way
I know, right? So it's almost like when you pour all that money into those three teams and they don't pan out, you start to scramble and you start to delay shit. So that really pissed me off, and I feel bad for Cleveland fans. I had Cleveland coming out of that series, and I think like John said, I think Cleveland still would, but it is what it is. Playoff baseball officially coming in an end here, and it should be a good finish.
Yeah. One more thing I want to bring up. I'm seeing a lot of people complaining about the new format. While I do like the more exclusive club, I think the format is fine. Look, just because we have the wild card has always produced good teams. These aren't bad teams. These are still top 6 teams in their leagues, respectively.
Right.
These are 90-win teams. The fact that they're beating the teams that are supposed to win, that's not really that crazy. I think the new format's fine.
I mean, the Yankees had 99 wins this year. The Guardians had 92.
Yeah, I think they had 98.
The Indians?
No, the Yankees.
The Yankees had 99.
Oh, okay.
The Padres had 89 wins, and the Dodgers had 111. Obviously, it's a little more lopsided.
Yeah, that was the
and the Mets had 101 wins.
But they also.
But the biggest reason that is so lopsided, in my opinion, is they played the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers are in the same division as the Padres. If the Mets are in the same division as the Padres and the Dodgers, I don't think the Mets get to 101 wins. The Braves, the Phillies, I don't even know what the Phillies ended their season with. They were third in their division, so
they were they were 6th seed.
I don't even know what they had necessarily.
I think they were at 86, 80 something.
Let's see.
What?
Josh Donaldson just fucking swung at 3 pitches.
87 and 75.
3 straight pitches.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so the Phillies are no scrub. Right? 87, 75, that's not great, but the other two teams in their division both had 100 wins. So you're kind of just scrapping and clawing. To me, the way I look at it is the Phillies beat the teams that they were supposed to and compete against the teams they quote unquote were not supposed to. So
plus the Mets just had a huge collapse anyways.
Yeah, well, they're the Mets. So
yeah, they had 101 wins, but they're still the Mets.
Well, let's get to our pick'ems and move on. Playoff baseball is fun and exciting, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Let's get to the pick'ems, John.
Yeah, we all had a good week this week. Harrison went 8-2, pulled to 44 and 26 overall, 1 game behind me, who's at 45 and 25. I went 7-3 this week. Ryan went 6-4, 37 and 33 overall. First game, we have the Syracuse Orange traveling down to Death Valley, take on the Clemson Tigers. Ryan, who do you got?
Clemson.
Last time I picked against Clemson, it did not bode well for me. I really, really want to pick Syracuse here, but I'm going to take the experienced team, Clemson.
I'm going with Clemson as well. It's in Death Valley. Syracuse has played some good teams, but none as good as Clemson. Give me the Tigers. Next game, we have the Texas Longhorns going up to Stillwater, take on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Ryan, who do you got?
Oklahoma State.
I'm also taking the Cowboys. Texas had an ugly win against Iowa State. I think they're still trying to figure out some kinks there. Oklahoma State had a big loss against TCU in the sense that they probably should have won it and collapsed. I'm looking for Oklahoma State to have a bounce back week. I think I'm 50-50 on they should have a bounce back week predictions because I said Oklahoma's going to have a bounce back week against Texas. It did not happen.
Yeah, that was bad.
So I'm taking Oklahoma State here, bounce back week. Book it.
I'm going actually with the Texas Longhorns here. They've just kind of been up and down, and this feels like the up spot. I don't know why. I'm just picking Texas. Next game, we have a top 10 matchup between the UCLA Bruins going up to Eugene, Autzen Stadium, take on the Oregon Ducks. Ryan, who do you got?
Going UCLA. Can't really trust Bo Nix. Sorry.
Oregon's played really, really good of late outside of just the Georgia loss, honestly. So, but I am riding the UCLA Bruins. Hot team, hot hand. Had a big win a couple weeks ago. Taking UCLA off of a bye too. A lot of rest, so I'll be curious to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I'm going with the Oregon Ducks here. I just think it's in Autzen Stadium. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they're two even teams, and UCLA doesn't even play with a home crowd, let alone going on.
Yeah, they really don't play for a crowd. They don't have anybody there.
So I think Oregon, the fans up there might give them a little tussle. Next game, we got the Mississippi State Bulldogs going over to Tuscaloosa to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Ryan, who do you got?
Alabama, and I don't think it's going to be. I was going to say Alabama State. Nice.
Well, Alabama State could show up.
They're an HBCU. They're a real school. Go Bees. They're like the Jackets.
Yeah, something like that. I'm going to take Alabama as well. I will actually be at that game, so I'll be tapped in. So check me out there. Look for me to storm the field. Might as well fuck it. We ball.
Yeah, I'm actually going Alabama here. Closer than you think, though. I think Will Rogers might be the second best quarterback in that division outside of Bryce Young. Mm-hmm. Next game, last college game, we have the Kansas State Wildcats going down to Fort Worth to take on the TCU Horned Frogs. Ryan, who do you got?
TCU.
Yeah.
They're one of the better teams in the country right now.
Yeah, I mean, TCU is playing absolute phenomenal football right now, and they're definitely, in my opinion, favored to win the Big 12. I know we kind of went, John's pushing against that a little bit to Texas. Right, Texas, you said win the Big 12?
I guess I'll go Texas, but I think I just don't think TCU wins it. It was more of a pick against TCU.
So I'm picking TCU. They're playing really, really good football. So I'm excited for them. What do you mean? What are you shaking your head? That's fucking a strike.
That was not a strike.
It lit up in the goddamn zone.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it did. Fucking
Outside.
Rewind.
It was inside.
Rewind.
I can't rewind on my phone.
Fucking, I'll pull up on ESPN. John, sorry. Go to your next pick.
So I'm going to TCU. I think they win the game. Go purple.
Right?
Go.
No, I'm saying this. Is it this or is it the thumbnail?
No, it's like a little, two little. Yeah. Going to NFL, we got tomorrow night. We got our Thursday night game. Saints at Cardinals. Ryan, who do you got?
Cardinals can be no sleeper in my opinion, though.
What you think?
I'm gonna pick. I mean, all Monday night football games and all Thursday night football games have been absolute fucking dog shit. So I'm gonna go Cardinals. They get D-Hop back, so I'll be curious to see how much they use him or how well they use him. Mm-hmm. But he's obviously a very, very, very good receiver. I'll be curious to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I'm going Cardinals too. You get D-Hop back plus Saints. You get Olave back, but you're still missing two other receivers in Landry and Michael Thomas. Mm-hmm. So I'm still going to go with the Cardinals there. The Thursday night games, I think, have just been absolute dog shit. But the Monday night games, they've just been putting on too many Broncos games. And I think that's the real reason. I think they'll start to pick back up.
Yeah, that does help. But, I mean, even the Chargers-Bronco game, obviously snooze fest. But Commanders and Bears.
Well, that was Thursday. I'm
saying Thursday and Monday have been awful.
And I'm conceding Thursday night. I'm just talking about Monday night.
Okay.
Next game, we got your Indianapolis Colts going down to Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans. Ryan, who do you
got? Titans.
I'm going to go Colts here. Looking for Jonathan Taylor to come back after missing a couple weeks. I think Matt Ryan and the offensive coordinators are really, really figuring it out now. We've looked good for the past 2 weeks now. Played a complete game. Matt Ryan's playing really well. He had 389 passing yards against Jacksonville, and put us in a chance to win. So I'm taking that.
Yeah, I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. I don't know. I think it's a close game. This one was probably the hardest one in terms
It's a
of
coin flip.
It's the closest between the two teams. So I'm gonna go with the Titans here. They're just at home.
I mean, you'd be favored to pick the Titans. Colts haven't won there in 4 years.
There you go. Next game, we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling over to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. Ryan, who do you got?
Chiefs, I think it's probably going to be a blowout, 30 points.
I'm also in Ryan's boat there. 49ers are not a good football team currently, and Chiefs, I think, might be a little pissed off they lost to the Bills.
Yeah, I'm going Chiefs here too, but the line is closer than you think. I think the Niners are only like 3.5 point underdogs.
Is it at 49ers?
It's at 49ers.
That
So
helps.
Super Bowl rematch at that. We put this game on there.
Mhm.
Next game, we have the Sunday night football game. Pittsburgh Steelers traveling down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Ryan, who do you got?
I'm actually going to go Steelers. I think maybe, actually, fuck, do I flip now? Because I forgot Kenny Pickett got hurt. Is he playing? He went in concussion protocol, right?
Shit, he's not playing. I haven't started in fantasy this week.
I have not a goddamn clue. I think
No, he left the game with a concussion.
He's projected points on my fantasy team.
He's not questionable at all?
It doesn't say he's questionable.
All right, fuck it. Give me the Steelers and Kenny fucking Pickett.
Kenny fucking Pickett.
I
I was thinking George Pickens. I don't know about Kenny Pickett.
Oh, fuck.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins just because I think Tua's back this week. So when he plays, they roll. So we'll be curious to see how well he looks after a couple weeks off.
Yeah, I'm just.
He could have played this past weekend. Didn't think that was a good move. He's set now. Gonna have more offensive prowess.
Yeah, I'm just rocking with the Dolphins here. I think this game will be ugly, but it'll be one of those enjoyable ugly games. I'm actually kind of looking forward to this game, but I am going Dolphins. Next game, Monday Night Football. Elite offenses here. We got the Chicago Bears taking on the New England Patriots. Ryan, who do you got?
As much as I want the Bears to win, and I think they should probably have like 2 or 3 more wins than they have currently. Okay, 2 if you stretch. Maybe like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I think they should have won last week. I think some dumb play calls, some dumb calls from refs in general. I think there was one like bullshit holding call that took back like a 30-40 yard run from Fields, something like that.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember that.
So yeah, but I'm gonna go Patriots because every single time I bet on the Bears, they don't win. So
I'm also going Patriots. Mac Jones, I think, is slated to be back. I don't know if that's a good move. Either way, I think both quarterbacks can play and they can play well. I think that the Patriots just have more weapons than the Bears do. The Bears just look very, very abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, you know what the saying is. Don't worry, be Zappy. I think Bailey Zappi just cooks. Give me the Patriots. That's the last game.
And that's all of our games. So
A lot of similarity this week. I'm trying to look at what games we picked differently.
Well, I picked UCLA. You picked Oregon.
We picked 3 games differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be interested to see a big matchup here again for college football. But
5 more ranked games.
before another great slate. I think on both sides of the ball personally. But let's get into our 2-minute drill. And before we get started, Ryan's going to get it all set up here in a minute. But for those of you that don't know what the 2-minute drill is, Ryan scours the internet, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can find some information. Find some interesting stats or, just interesting sports news. Puts it together, puts 5 questions that we have to answer in 2 minutes. Quick hits, quick responses. Ryan, whenever you're ready, we're ready.
All right. So, Myles Garrett is now the all-time sack leader for the Browns. Is he top 5 Browns of all time?
I'm going to say, yeah, I think he'd be up there. He's definitely worth within the discussion.
I think he's on pace to, but I would push back, especially right now.
Just not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Jordan Poole gets paid by the Warriors, $149 over 4 years. Do the Warriors stay good forever?
I mean, they're looking at, man, they just keep getting younger, and they have a lot of really young guys on the team that can play basketball. DiVincenzo's a new Warrior this year. Wiseman's back, and Poole got paid, so we'll see.
I mean, if your team's blown a 3-1 lead, is your team really ever good?
Saw that coming.
I'm going to say no.
Chris McCaffrey is potentially on the trading block. What team do you think will be? Jesus fuck, anyways.
Yeah.
What team do you think will be a buyer for?
I think the 49ers might be in.
49ers, give me the Jets. I think the
Jets could be a good one.
Jets could swoop in.
Jose Ramirez is set to undergo hand surgery in a couple days. Is the rest of the season underperformed in the ALDS?
I think that might be the reason. Personally, he didn't look like himself.
He's always kind of sucks in the postseason. If you look back at his stats, if anything, this is more consistent. More consistency.
All right, who's the best young NBA team to root for?
He aren't really young, so I'm not going to say them. I think the Rockets could be a lot of fun this year, so I'll go Rockets or Thunder.
I mean, it has to be the Cavs. Cavs are back.
Cavs are young. That'll be fun.
Don't be lacking on the Cavs. They'll catch you lacking.
All right, I'm gonna throw a bonus one in there,
Wait on me.
just because I saw this stat. I was actually kind of wondering it. We're gonna go over time. It's fine.
That's fine. It's a bonus one. Doesn't count.
I saw this stat when we were just watching the game, but I was actually wondering it before I just saw the stat, and it kind of just reassured my question. Does Justin Verlander, how far off is he from getting most postseason strikeouts?
He's flipping.
second right now,
He's flipping between him and Kershaw.
Okay.
Like Justin Verlander took number one in the game one, then Kershaw took it back in game one of his series, or when he pitched whenever game 1 or 2 of when the Dodgers played. So he should be slated to separate a little bit more.
It says he's second right now.
That would probably be incorrect. I don't know.
That's what the.
I don't know how many Kershaw has.
Now, I
currently.
don't know if that was postseason all time, if that was World Series all time. I don't know.
No, it should be postseason. It should be grouped into one. But him and Kershaw is Kershaw one? That'd be the question.
I don't know. Just said he was second.
Okay, yeah. So I know that. Here, I'll look on StatMuse. Why not?
Why not pull up StatMuse?
I live for StatMuse.
So my question is, does Verlander take the number one position by the end of the World Series?
Yeah, I think so. John?
He's got 208 strikeouts right now. He's second.
Well, it is still possible the Dodgers cut Kershaw,
Yeah, just pick him up right now.
and then the Phillies pick him up.
They don't have to cut him. His contract's up. He only signed 1 year. Oh, wow.
Well, we're still
I don't think he can sign. Can you sign somebody this late?
Well, yeah, you can always sign people. There's just why would you cut him?
Who's the all-time strikeout leader in postseason?
It's gonna go batters. That's what it did.
But why would it go batters?
Fucking Derek Jeter, you fucking bum.
Pitcher? Who's the all-time strikeout pitcher?
Sure. Yeah, just put pitcher. Pitching leader. Yeah.
There you go. Who's the all-time strikeout pitching leader in postseason? Load, you bastard. Oh, that's not it either.
That's a lot of strikeouts. Oh,
it's more career outs.
Yeah, that's not strikeouts.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't find it right now. So I would say yes.
Try outs plural. Just like put outs plural.
I should just fucking get it. Why is it goddamn being so difficult?
Tough day for StatMuse.
StatMuse is not looking great.
Yeah, tough day for StatMuse.
Strike out. Well, we'll figure this out off camera and let you guys know next week. But thank you so much again for hanging out with us, guys, this week. We really appreciate it. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. Keep up to date with our Twitter. We got a lot of polls, voting happening. We obviously post our pick'ems every week and how we did the day before, week before as well, and what we have going for this weekend. We'll post our poll this week, and I believe we also have if the 12-team playoff was this year, what that would look like based off of our poll, not the AP poll. So make sure you be looking out for that as well. John, you got anything to say before we let him go?
Cavs are back. NBA rigged. MLB rigged. College basketball's coming up. Shout out October. Ryan, you got anything to say to people before we let him go?
Go Yankees, baby.
And that's all I got to say before I let you guys go. Go Astros here. So we'll see you coming, and we'll see you next week. Peace.